So let's start the topic. तो पहला क्वेश्चन है, where did people first begin to grow crops like wheat and barley about 8,000 years ago? वो क्या है? सलमन एंड खरतर हिल. देखिए आंसर देखिए. ओके, इट्स करेक्ट आंसर दैट सलमन एंड खरतर हिल में फर्स्ट क्रॉप्स लाइक व्हीट एंड बार्ले जो बिगिन स्टार्ट हुआ था. ओके, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. What were the ancient books written by hand on palm leaf or birch bark called? उनको क्या कहा जाता है? मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट. क्या कहता है? मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट. That means manuscripts were handwritten documents. Okay, often on palm leaves or the bark of birch tree that provide valuable information about the past. Next question. The area belong which river was known as Magadha in ancient times? Ka Ganga. The kingdom of Magadha was a powerful ancient kingdom located in the area south of Ganga river. कहाँ पर होता है? गंगा रिवर में होता है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखिए. व्हाट इज द स्टडी ऑफ इंस्क्रिप्शन कॉल्ड? क्या कहते हैं? एपिग्राफी. क्या कहते हैं? एपिग्राफी कहा जाता है. एपिग्राफी इज द स्टडी एंड इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ इंस्क्रिप्शंस which are writing engraved on hard surface like stone or metal. Next question. From which river did the name India and Indus originated? कौन सा? Indus, Sindhu river. Okay. The word India comes from the Indus called Sindhu in Sanskrit. The Iranians and Greeks who came through the northeast call it the Indus or the Indus, and the land to east of the river was called India. Okay. Next question. Who are archaeologists? कौन आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट होता है? वो होता है पीपल हु स्टडी द रिमेन ऑफ बिल्डिंग्स, पेंटिंग्स एंड स्कल्पचर. दे आर कॉल्ड आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट. ओके. आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट आर स्कॉलर्स हु स्टडी द पास्ट बाय excavating and analyzing material remain like tools, pots, buildings and bones. Okay, next question. Where are the Garo Hills located? Garo Hills कहाँ पर located है? वो है नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया. कहाँ पर? नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. The name Bharata was used for a group of people who live in which part of the subcontinent? कहाँ पर? वो है साउथ वेस्ट, sorry, नॉर्थ वेस्ट. Answer is north west. The name Bharata was used for a group of people who live in the northeast and who are mentioned in the Rig Veda. Later it was used for the country. Next question. What does the abbreviation BC stand for in history? BC का मतलब क्या होता है? वो होता है बिफोर कॉमन एरा. BCE, that means before common era stands for. Okay, it is used as an alternative to BC, that will before Christ, to denote the period before year one of Gregorian calendar. Okay, next question. Writing on relatively hard surface such as stone or metal are known as, वो क्या होता है, इंस्क्रिप्शन होता है. Okay, inscriptions are durable writing on hard surface. The orders of kings or donation by people were often inscribed for others to see and obey. Okay, so let's start the topic. तो पहला क्वेश्चन है, where did people first begin to grow crops like wheat and barley about 8,000 years ago? वो क्या है, सलमन एंड खरतर हिल. देखिए आंसर देखिए. ओके, इट्स करेक्ट आंसर दैट सलमन एंड खरतर हिल में फर्स्ट क्रॉप्स लाइक वेट एंड वर्ले जो बिगिन स्टार्ट हुआ था. ओके, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, व्हाट वेर द एंशियंट बुक्स रिटन बाय हैंड ऑन पाम लीफ और बिच बक कॉल्ड? उनको क्या कहा जाता है, मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट. क्या कहता है, मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट. दैट मीन्स मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट्स वेर हैंड रिटन डॉक्यूमेंट्स, ओके, ऑफन ऑन palm leaves or the bark of beech tree that provide valuable information about the past. Next question, the area belong which river was known as Magadha in ancient times? का Ganga. The kingdom of Magadha was a powerful ancient kingdom located in the area south of Ganga river. कहाँ पर होता है, गंगा रिवर में होता है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखिए, व्हाट इज द स्टडी ऑफ इंस्क्रिप्शन कॉल्ड? क्या कहते हैं, एपिग्राफी. क्या कहते हैं, एपिग्राफी कहा जाता है. एपिग्राफी इज द स्टडी एंड इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ इंस्क्रिप्शंस which are writing engraved on hard surface like stone or metal. Next question, from which river did the name India and Indus originated? कौन सा, इंडस, सिंधु रिवर. ओके, the word India comes from the Indus called Sindhu in Sanskrit. The Iranians and Greeks who came through the northeast call it the Indus or the Indus, and the land to east of the river was called India. Okay. Next question, who are archaeologists? कौन आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट होता है, वो होता है पीपल हु स्टडी द रिमेन ऑफ बिल्डिंग्स, पेंटिंग्स एंड स्कल्पचर. दे आर कॉल्ड आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट. ओके, आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट आर स्कॉलर्स हु स्टडी द पास्ट बाय excavating and analyzing material remain like tools, pots, buildings and bones. Okay, next question, where are the Garo Hills located? Garo Hills कहाँ पर लोकेटेड है, वो है नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया. कहाँ पर, नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, द नेम भारत was used for a group of people who live in which part of the subcontinent? कहाँ पर, वो है साउथ वेस्ट, सॉरी नॉर्थ वेस्ट. आंसर इज नॉर्थ वेस्ट. द नेम भारत was used for a group of people who live in the northeast and who are mentioned in the Rig Veda. Later it was used for the country. Next question, what does the abbreviation BC stand for in history? BC का मतलब क्या होता है? वो होता है बिफोर कॉमन एरा. BCE, that means before common era stands for, okay, it is used as an alternative to BC, that will before Christ, to denote the period before year one of Gregorian calendar. Okay, next question. Writing on relatively hard surface such as stone or metal are known as, वो क्या होता है? इंस्क्रिप्शन होता है. Okay, inscriptions are durable writing on hard surface. The orders of kings or donation by people were often inscribed for others to see and obey. Okay. चैप्टर 2 का पहला क्वेश्चन देखिए. द अर्लीस्ट पीरियड ऑफ ह्यूमन हिस्ट्री इज नोन एज, क्या कहा जाता है? वो पैलेलिथिक एज कहा जाता है. कहा जाता है पैलेलिथिक एज. That means the Paleolithic Age, or is also known as Old Stone Age, is the earliest period lasting from 2 million years ago to about 12,000 years ago. It covers 99% of human history. Next question देखिए. Which of these sites is a famous Paleolithic site in Madhya Pradesh known for its rock painting? वह भीमबेटका. Bhimbetka in present day Madhya Pradesh is a famous Paleolithic site with rock sculptures that have painting depicting scenes from hunting and daily life. Next question. The period from about 12,000 years ago till about 10,000 years ago, characterized by tiny stone tools called microliths, is known as Mesolithic Age. Mesolithic Age or Middle Stone Age is a traditional period where environmental changes occur and people started using smaller, more refined stone tools called microlith. Next question. Which was the first animal to be tamed by early human? That's dog. Okay. किसके लिए? वो हंटिंग और प्रोटेक्शन के लिए टैम किया जाता था. तो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. The site of Mehaghar, located in present-day Pakistan, is important because it shows the earliest evidence of farming and herding. फार्मिंग एंड हर्डिंग के लिए एविडेंस है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. व्हाट इज द प्राइमरी मटेरियल यूज्ड फॉर मेकिंग टूल्स ड्यूरिंग द स्टोन एज? प्राइमरी कौन सा स्टोन एज के टाइम में कौन सा मटेरियल यूज किया था? वो स्टोन यूज किया था, इसलिए स्टोन एज उस टाइम को स्टोन एज कहा जाता है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. The beginning of agriculture and settlement marked the start of which period? Agriculture and settlement कौन सा स्टेट में हुआ था? वो न्यूलिथिक एज में स्टार्ट हुआ था. द न्यूलिथिक एज और न्यू स्टोन एज began around 10,000 years ago and it is defined by the development of agriculture, polished stone tools or permanent settlement. Next question. The Daujali having a Neolithic site in the hill near the Brahmaputra valley, what important tool has been found? Master or pestle? Master and pestle. Next question. Early human who moved from palace to palace, place to place in search of food are called hunting and gather. कहा था hunting or gathers were nomadic people who sustained themselves by hunting wild animals, fishing, and gathering wild plants, fruits, and nuts. Next question. Why did hunter gatherers move from place to place? Resource would exist at on place. Okay. हमारा चैप्टर 3 का क्वेश्चन देखिए. The Harappan city civilization developed around which river valleys? Yes, Indus River valleys. What was the Great Bath and a special tank found in Mohenjo-daro likely used for spiritual ritual bath? Okay. Next question. Which Harappan city was divided into parts and had massive stone walls? क्या होता है वो? धोलावीरा. कहाँ पर? धोलावीरा. The Harappan city of Lothal was famous for being a dockyard. Dockyard means the Lothal located present in Gujarat was an important trading center with a massive dockyard where boats and ships came from the sea and through the river channel. वो ट्रेडिंग के लिए मतलब अच्छा जगह है, उनको कहा जाता है डॉकयार्ड. What were Harappan seal typically made a streets primarily used for to stamps bag or packets of goods. Okay, that means seals often with animal motifs were used to make impression on clay, likely to mark ownership and ensure the contents of packets were not tampered with during trades. Okay, next question देखिए. क्वेश्चन क्या है? What raw material was used by the Harappans to make weights? वो क्या है? ये तीनों में यूज किया जाता है. गोल्ड, कार्नेलियन, ivory, all of this. The Harappans were skilled craftspeople who used a variety of material including carnelian, that means a red stone, gold, shell, fancy to make beautiful beds and ornament. Next question. The western part of most Harappan cities, which was smaller but higher, is known as citadel. क्या आता है? Citadel. The western part, the citadel, was built a raised platform and contained important public buildings, suggesting it was the administrative or religious center of the city. Next question. The scripts used by the Harappan was pictographic and not yet deciphered. Okay. Which metal was known to the people of Harappan civilization? हरप्पन सिविलाइजेशन का कौन सा मेटल यूज किया होता है? आयरन. द हरप्पन्स वर पार्ट ऑफ ब्रॉन्ज एज. They used copper, bronze, and gold and silver, but the use of iron began much later in India history. The question क्या था? तो which metal was not known for to the people of Harappan city? कौन सा मेटल हरप्पन सिटी में यूज़ नहीं किया, मतलब जानते नहीं थे, वो यूज़ किया ही नहीं है, वो आयरन है. बट कॉपर, ब्रॉन्ज, गोल्ड, सिल्वर, ये सब उस टाइम यूज हुआ था. बट आयरन का जो बिगिन हुआ था बहुत लेट हुआ था इंडियन में. व्हाट इज फैंसी, ए मटेरियल यूज बाय हरप्पन्स? an artificial produced material used for ornaments. ओके, ये हुआ हमारा चैप्टर 3। नेक्स्ट वीडियो में देखेंगे चैप्टर 4 का क्वेश्चन। ओके, लेट्स स्टार्ट चैप्टर 4। तो इसमें देखिए फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन क्या है, which is the oldest Veda, composed about 3500 years ago। और ऋग वेदा क्या है वो ऋग वेदा। ओके, the ऋग वेदा is the earliest of the 4 Vedas and one of the oldest texts in any Indo-European language. Its hymns are in praise of various gods and goddesses. This question, the hymns in the Vedas are called suktas. The hymns in the Rig Vedas are called suktas, which means well said. They are composed by swags, that means rishis, and were passed down orally for centuries before being written. Next question, which two rivers are specially mentioned in the hymns of the Rig Veda? Both Indus and Saraswati. The Rig Veda frequently mentions the Indus and its tributaries and also the mythical river Saraswati. The Ganga and Jamuna, okay, are named only once, Ganga and Jamuna. Next call, what are megaliths? मेगालिथ्स क्या है, वो है लार्ज स्टोन बिल्डर्स यूज टू मार्क ब्रिचुअल साइट। ओके, तो पहले डिस्कशन, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखिए, इन द ऋग्वेदा पीपल वर डिस्क्राइब इन टर्म ऑफ the work they did and the language they spoke. Okay, the Rigveda describes people based on their profession like priests or rajas and their lineage or community. There was no rigid caste system as developed later. Next question, the word dasa or dasao, answer is opponents or Slavs. The area's opponents were described as Dasa or the South. These were people who spoke different languages and did not perform sacrifices. The term Dasa later came to mean slave. Next question, the special burial site at Inamgao, where an adult was buried in a clay jar in the house. Suggests in belief in which that life after death, life after death. The practice of burying the dead with food, water, and other objects inside their own homes suggests that people believed in some form of existence after death. Next question, Charaka, a famous physician of ancient India, wrote a book on medicine known as Charaka Samhita. Okay, Charaka Samhita is a foundational text of Ayurveda, the traditional Indian system of medicine written by Charaka around 2000 years ago. Next question, battle in the Rigvedic period were often fought for land, water, and cattle. Land, water, and cattle. Next question, the Rajas of the Rig Vedic period were different from later king because they did not have capital cities, palaces, or armies. The Rajas of the Rig Vedic period were different from later kings because they did not have capital cities, palaces, or armies. Okay, next question. Chapter 5. Okay. Next question. Around to 2500 years ago, some Janpadas because the more important than other and were known as Majanpadas. Majanpadas were large and powerful kingdoms or republics that emerged in the 6th century BCE. There were 16 major Mahajanpadas in ancient India. Okay, next question. Which Mahajanpada became the most powerful in about 200 years? कौन सा पद मतलब सबसे ऊंचाई था? वो मगधा. क्या था? Magadha with its fertile land, iron ore mines, and powerful rulers like Bhimbisara and Ajatastra emerged as the most powerful Mahajanpada. Next question. What major agriculture change helped in increase food production during this period? क्या था वो? Use of iron plowshare. Use of iron plowshare. The increasing use of iron plowshare allow farmer to turn over heavy clay soil more effectively than with wooden plowshare, leading to increased agricultural production. Next question. In a Ghana or Sangha, that means republic, how were decisions made? Then through discussion and debate in a assembly. In republics like the Bajji Sangha, there were many rulers who met in assemblies to make decision collectively through discussion. Next question. The capital of the Bajji Mahajanpada was कहाँ था वो? Vaishali. Vaishali, now it's present in Bihar. Okay, was the capital of the Bajji Confederacy, which had a different form of government known as Gana or Sangha. Next, what was Bhaga in the context of Mahajanpada? That a fixed tax on crops, usually 1/6. Okay, कितना लेते हैं? 1/6. As rulers of Mahajanpadas needed resources to build forts and maintain armies, they started collecting regular taxes. The tax on crops, called bhaga, was fixed at 1/6 of the produce. Next question. Who was the founder of the Mauryan Empire who conquered the Nanda dynasty of Magadha? वो कौन किए थे? चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य. Chandragupta Maurya, with the help of his advisor Chanakya, overthrew the Nanda dynasty and established the Maurya Empire, which would eventually control most of the subcontinent. Next question. The rulers of Mahajanpada started building fort because all of them, ये तीनों होते हैं, मतलब they were after an attack from the king. They wanted to show how rich and powerful they were. It was easier to control the area from within a fort. The fort जो provide protection करते fort served as a symbol of power and wealth, and made it easier for the ruler to administer the fortified area and its population. Next question. What is transplantation in the context of paddy cultivation? That's growing sapling and the planting them in the field. Paddy transplantation involves growing seedlings in a nursery and then planting them in the main field. This technique leads to higher yield but is very labor intensive. Who were the Dasas Karmakaras? दस लैंडलेस एग्रीकल्चर लेबर्स, जिसके पास लैंड नहीं रहता था, वो उनको कहा जाता है दसस कर्मकरस. द दसस कर्मकरस वर मैन एंड वुमेन हु डिड नॉट ओन लैंड and had to work on the fields of others to earn a living. जीने के लिए जो लोग काम करते थे, क्योंकि उनके पास खुद का लैंड नहीं था एग्रीकल्चर करने के लिए, तो उनको बोला जाता है दोसस कर्मकरस. नेक्स्ट चैप्टर. Siddharth, who became known as a Buddha, belongs to which Gana? कहाँ पर? वो Sakhya. Siddharth Gautama, the Buddha, was born into a royal family of Sakhyagana, a small republic. He was a Kshatriya. Next question. Where did the Buddha give his first sermon after attaining enlightenment? कहाँ पर दिया था फर्स्ट? सरनाथ. कहाँ पर? सरनाथ पर. After attaining enlightenment at Bodh Gaya, the Buddha traveled to Sarnath near Varanasi, where he taught for the first time. This event is known as the Dharma Chakra Pravartana. This means turning of the wheel of laws. Next question. The idea of Atma, that individual soul, and the Brahman, the universal soul, is a central theme of which text? Upanishads. Okay. The Upanishads, which means approaching and sitting near, contain a philosophical conversation between teachers and students, exploring profound questions about life, death, and the ultimate reality of Atma and Brahman. Next question. Who was the 24th and last Tirthankara of the Jains? कौन थे? वो थे Vardhamana Mahavira. Vardhamana Mahavira was the 24th Tirthankara, that great teacher of Jainism. He spread the core teachings of Jainism, emphasizing ahimsa, that non-violence. Next question. The main teaching of Jainism, ahimsa, means non-violence. Okay. Next question. The language used by the Buddha to teach the common people was Prakriti. The Buddha and Mahavira taught in Prakrit, the language of the ordinary people, so that everyone could understand their message, unlike Sanskrit, which was the language of the learned elite. तो संस्कृत हर व्यक्ति समझने के लिए बहुत तकलीफ होता था, तो वो सोच रहे थे प्रकृत लैंग्वेज से वो हर लोगों के पास पहुँचाना जाता है. जब मैसेज ऑफ टीचर्स, मतलब जो मैसेज वो देना चाहते हैं वो क्या है, वो कौन सा लैंग्वेज में दिए थे? प्रकृत लैंग्वेज में दिए थे. The Sangha was an association of Tharan. क्या है वो? those who left their homes to seek enlightenment. Both the Buddha and Mahavira established the Sangha, an organization for monks and nuns. That means bhikkhus or bhikkhunis who had renounced worldly life to meditate and pursue spiritual knowledge. Next question: the rules made for the Buddhist Sangha were written down in a book called Vinaya Pitaka. The Vinaya Pitaka is one of the three baskets, that means three Pitaka of Buddhist scripture, and contain the rules of conduct and discipline for the community of monk and nuns. Okay, next question. What is karma according to the Buddha? बुद्धा मतलब उनके भाषा में कर्मा मीन्स क्या है? वो है our action both good or bad that affect us in this life and the next. कर्मा मीन्स क्या है? आप जो अभी एक्शन होगा वो जो कर रहे हो वो गुड और बैड वो इफेक्ट पड़ता है हमारे लाइफ में, तो उनका क्या होता है? और एक्शन बोथ गुड एंड बैड दैट अफेक्ट अस इन दिस लाइफ एंड नेक्स्ट. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Jain teaching were written down in the form in which they are currently available at the place called Bhalavi. The teachings of Mahavira were orally transmitted through centuries. They were written down in their final form at a council held at Bhalavi in Gujarat about 1500 years ago. Okay, next chapter will show. Who was the founder of Maurya Empire? Maurya Empire founder कौन थे? Chandragupta Maurya. Okay. Chanakya's ideas were written down in a book called, जो चाणक्य आइडिया लिखे थे वो क्या था? अर्थशास्त्र. That means the अर्थशास्त्र is a treatise on statecraft, economical policy, and military strategy attributed to Chanakya that provides a detailed account of Maurya administration. Next question. Which major war changed Ashoka's life and made him give up conquest? The Kalinga War. The immense violence and bloodshed in the war to conquer Kalinga, then coastal Odisha, horrified Ashoka, leading him to abandon the policy of physical conquest in favor of Dhamma Vijaya. That means conquest through righteousness. What is Dhamma as propagated by Ashoka? वो क्या है? A code of conduct based on moral value. Okay, that means the Ashoka's Dhamma was not a religion but a moral code inspired by the teachings of Buddha. It stressed non-violence, respect for elders, tolerance for all religions, and kindness to all beings. Next question. How did Ashoka spread his message of Dhamma? कैसे वो धम्मा को जो धम्मा उनका जो मीनिंग था वो मैसेज ट्रांसमिट करते थे? वो करते बाय engraving them on pillars and rocks. That means the Ashoka had his message inscribed on rock surface and tall stone pillar across his empire in the local Prakrit language so that ordinary people could read and understand them. Next question. Who were the Dhamma Mahamathas that officially appointed by Ashoka to spread the message Dhamma? अशोका ही जो मेन थे, धम्मा जो मैसेज था वो लोगों के पास लेने के लिए। अशोका appointed a special official called the Dhamma Mahamathas who went from place to place teaching people about Dhamma and inspecting the welfare of the people. Next question. The capital of Maurya Empire was Patliputra. Okay, Patliputra, that now in modern day in Patna, was the capital city of vast Maurya Empire. Taxila and Ujjain were important provincial capital and gateway. Next question. What was the script used for most of Ashoka inscription? Brahmi. The most of Ashoka edicts were written in Brahmi script, which is the ancestor of most modern Indian script, including Devanagari. What was the tribute collecting by Maurya official? That means an irregular collection of resources whenever possible. Unlike regular tax bhaga, tribute was collecting as and when it was possible from people in forest or less accessible areas, often in the form of goods like elephants, timber, or honey. What modern symbol of India has been taken from the Ashokan pillar at Sarnath. वो क्या था? The national emblem, the four lion. The lion capital of Ashoka from the pillar at Sarnath, showing four lions standing back to back, has been adopted as the national emblem of India. Okay. Next question. The use of what metal transformed agriculture and craft around 2500 years ago in the subcontinent. वो कौन सा था? वो था आयरन. कौन था? आयरन. Okay, next question. In the Tamil region, large landowner were known as, क्या बोला था उनका? बेल्लालर. बेल्लालर. In the Tamil speaking regions of the south, society was divided into groups where large landowners were called bellalar, ordinary plugmen were called ujahar, and landless labor were called kadashyar or adimai. Okay, the village headman in the northern part of the country was known as Grama Bhujaka. The Grama Bhujaka was the village headman, often the largest landowner. Okay, this called कहाँ पर होता है? नॉर्थन पर क्या कहा था? ग्रामन भुजाका means largest landowner. He was a powerful figure who collected taxes for the king and also functioned as a judge and policeman. What is Sangam literature? संगम लिटरेचर क्या होता है? वो होता है third one, the earliest work in Tamil in assemblies poets. Okay, what are Jataka tales? Jataka tales क्या होता है? वो होता है stories composed by ordinary people and written down by Buddhist monk. The Jataka tales are stories that were probably told by common people and later collected and written down by Buddhist monk. They often narrate the previous birth of Buddha. Next question. Mathura was an important city because it was all of this. because it was located at the crossroad of major trade routes, a major center for the production of fine sculpture, a religious center for Buddhists, Jains, and Hindus. That all answer is correct. Okay, that means the metro was strategically important city for trade and travel. It was also a sacred place for multiple religions and became a renowned center for art, particularly sculpture. Next question: what were शहरनिस शहरनिस का मतलब क्या होता है? वो होता है एसोसिएशन ऑफ क्राफ्ट्स पर्सन एंड मर्चेंट. That means awareness were guilds or organization formed by craftspeople and merchant. They provide training, procure raw materials, organize trade, and even serve as bank. What archaeological evidence has been found at Arikamadu? Now it is Pondicherry. Okay, all of this, all of answer is correct because the excavation at Arikamadu revealed a coastal settlement with a warehouse and evidence of extensive trade with the Roman Empire, including imported poetry, that means, and other goods. Okay. Next question: what were punch mark coins? पंच मार्क कॉइन क्या होता है? वो होता है द अर्लीस्ट कॉइन्स विथ सिंबल पंच ऑफ देम. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन: ring wells found in many cities from this period were used as toilet or drainage and garbage dump. Okay, these rings of pottery or ceramic arranged on the top of the others, known as the ring wells, were likely used as drain, garbage dumps, and possibly as toilet. Okay. हेलो स्टूडेंट, वेलकम टू आवर चैनल. तो अभी इस क्वेश्चन को देखिए. द मोस्ट फेमस रूलर ऑफ Kushans who controlled the silk route was answer is Kanishka. कौन? Kanishka. Okay. Next question. The technique of making silk was first invented in which country? कौन सा कंट्री था वो? चाइना. Okay. Next question. Which ruler in South India were known as the Lord of the दक्षिणापथ? कौन सा? वो है Satavahans. The Satavahans dynasty became powerful in western India and the Deccan. Their rulers were known as Lord of Dakshinapatha, which was the trade routes leading to the south. Okay. Next question. What is bhakti? Bhakti means a person's devotion to his or her chosen deity. Okay. The bhakti is intensely personal form of devotion where a devotee can worship a chosen deity that's like Shiva, Vishnu, or Durga with a pure heart without the need for elaborate ritual or prestige. Next question. Fashion or San Hong were famous Chinese pilgrims who came to India. Then visit places associated with the life of the Buddha. Next question. The chief of which three ruling families in the south were known as Movendar in Tamil? The third question is Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyans. Pandyas. Okay. Next question. The best known rulers who controlled the Silk Route and issued the first gold coin in India were वो कहा था Francis Kushanans. Okay, the Kushanas were among the earliest rulers in the subcontinent to issue gold coins, which were used by traders along the Silk Route. Next question: who composed the Buddha Charita, a biography of the Buddha? Ashwaghosa. Okay. Next question: why was the Silk Route so important for rulers like the Kushanans? इसके लिए इम्पोर्टेंट था वो था हर तरह का मतलब ऑल ऑफ दिस आंसर जो कि दे कुड कलेक्ट taxes and tributes from traders. It increased their political influence. It brought new ideas and cultures to their kingdom. Next question: the earliest form of bhakti was focused on which deities? The Shiva, Vishnu, and Durga. Okay. Next question: next chapter. The next question: what are prosatis? उसका मीनिंग क्या है? Answer is Tharon. Inscription in praise of kings. Next question: the famous Allahabad pillar inscription is a prosati prosasti composed for which Gupta ruler? Answer is Samudragupta. Okay. The Allahabad pillar prosasti was composed in Sanskrit by Samudragupta's court poet Harisena. It describes Samudragupta's military conquest and policies toward different rulers. Next question: who was the first ruler of the Gupta dynasty to adopt the grand title of Maharaj Adhiraj? Maharaj Adhiraj. The Chandragupta one. Okay. Next question: the famous poet Kalidas and the astronomer Aryabhat were in the court of which Gupta king? That Chandragupta II, that is called Vikramaditya. क्या है वे? वो Vikram Aditya. That means the court of Chandragupta II was formed for being full of learned people, including the 9 gems, the Navaratnas, of whom Kalidas and Aryabhat were the most prominent. Next question: which ruler from the Pushyabhuti dynasty is known for his biography, the Harshcharita, written by his court poem Banabhatta? That's Harshavardhana. Answer is Harshavardhana. Next question: the capital of Chalukyas, an important ruling dynasty in southern India, was. The answer is second one, Batabi. Batabi or Badami. Okay. The Chalukya had their capital at Ahila and later at Batabi. That's modern Badami. They were a major power in the Deccan. Next question: the Pallavas, who were powerful in the southern part of the subcontinent, had their capital at Kachipuram. The kingdom of Pallavas spread from their capital city Kachipuram down to the Kaveri Delta. They were known for their magnificent temples. Next question: who was the best known Chalukya ruler, famous for his prosasti composed by Ravi Kriti? The answer is Plaksin II. Okay, Plaksin II. Next question: what was a Sabha in the kingdoms of the south? Second, an assembly of Brahmin landowners. Inscription of the Pallavas mention a number of local assemblies, including the Sabha, which was an assembly of Brahmin landowners. It looked after irrigation, roads, and temples. Next question: what does the term Samanta refers to? Samanta उनका मतलब क्या है? A powerful military leader who provide troops to the king when needs. It means Samanta. Okay. Next question. It's last chapter. The famous iron pillar, known for its rust resistant quality, is located in कहाँ पर लोकेटेड है? वो मेहरौली दिल्ली. Okay. मतलब the iron pillar at Mehroli near the Qutub Minar in New Delhi was made about 1500 years ago. It's a marvel of ancient Indian metallurgy as it has not rusted despite being exposed to the element for century. Next question: what is a stupa in Buddhist architecture? Stupa मतलब क्या होता है? स्तूपा ये जो आंसर दिया है यहाँ पर कोई भी नहीं है, मतलब वो आंसर देखिए यहाँ पर होता है. A stupa is a solid dome-shaped structure built to house cat relics. It's a place of veneration for Buddhist. The path around the stupa is called Pradakshina Path. Next question: the most important part of Hindu temple wherein the image of chief deity that is place is called Garbhagriha. Okay. The famous rock cut temple at Ellora and the painting at Ajanta were created during the time of which dynasty? It's Chalukyas and Rashtrakutas. Next question: the famous Tamil epic The Sileppa Dikaram was composed by a poet named is Ingo. The Sileppa one of the five greatest epic of Tamil literature, tells the story of merchant named Kabalan and his wife Kanangi. It composed by the Ingao Adigal. Next question: the Puranas, which contain stories about Hindu gods and goddesses, were written in simple Sanskrit words. संस्कृत में लिखा हुआ है. Next question: who was the great astronomer and mathematician who stated that the earth rotates on its axis and explained the scientific reason for ellipse? This Aryabhat. कौन है? Aryabhat. Aryabhat in his book The Aryabhatyam correctly explained that day and night are caused by earth rotation and provided scientific explanation for solar and lunar eclipses, challenging traditional beliefs. Next question: the Mahabharata is an epic about a war fought between which two groups of cousins? Pandavas and the Kauravas. Next question: what is the Shikhara in temple architecture? शिखर का मतलब क्या होता है? The tower built on top of the Garbhagriha. Okay. Last question: the concept of zero and the decimal system were important contribution from which ancient civilization? Indian ancient civilization. Okay, thank you. इस वीडियो में आप जो देख रहे हैं मतलब एनसीईआरटी का कवर होता है 6th क्लास का हिस्ट्री. Thank you.